After many demos and playtests, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is finally out. With promising marketing and a very good early reception, is CrossWorlds the Sonic Racing game we've been after? Sonic Racing games are quite regular, and most of the time actually pretty good, if not just very okay. Starting all the way back when, with Sonic Drift games and Sonic R. Then we had the Riders games, which I looked at recently, which was a unique take on the racing formula. Then we headed back into cars with the Sega All-Stars Racing series, with Transformed being my favourite racer. Team Sonic Racing had amazing music, but that was about it. That one was very meh. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds seemed to combine all the multiple racing styles from Transformed, while adding a unique twist and a boatload of characters to the mix. The game starts off by throwing you into a Grand Prix before unlocking everything else. Once you've won your first Grand Prix, you unlock all the game modes: Grand Prix, Park Mode, Time Trial and Multiplayer. No story really to speak of in this game. Dodonpa returns from Team Sonic Racing, but more as a tutorial man or an announcer for any events. Grand Prix will see you racing through 3 tracks, with the final race having you go through all 3 tracks, changing between laps. But first, how do races work in CrossWorld?
Now's my chance.
Racing in CrossWorlds is a bit different to other games. In CrossWorlds, lap 1 will see you racing the track as normal. Heading into lap 2, 2 lanes appear allowing the player in first place to choose the CrossWorld track. The chosen track will then be played for lap 2, before heading back to the main track for lap 3, with increased items and ring placement. This is CrossWorld's main gimmick and it's pretty cool. It adds variety to the tracks each time you play them. The CrossWorld tracks are initially limited to a few tracks that are made for this purpose. They've taken track themes from everywhere in Sonic's universe, even from games that didn't do too hot, which is honestly great to see. We've got tracks from Secret Rings with Dinosaur Jungle, Sonic Colors with Galactic Parade and Sweet Mountain, and even Riders with White Jungle. Sonic Unleashed has Dragon Road and Alaska. Sonic Lost World even gets some representation here too, with the weirdest one of them all, the Hidden World. If I was to have chosen a world from Lost World, it wouldn't have been the Hidden World. These Pac-Man things still give me nightmares. They're just so unsettling. Now we know how races work, back to the Grand Prix. Playing through the Grand Prix will unlock faster speeds to try, mirror mode, and if you beat all of the rivals within the mode, you unlock a special character, Super Sonic. He unfortunately is only playable in the Grand Prix mode, which is disappointing. Yes, he's invincible, but come on, you could have just given him Sonic stats or something for regular play. He's a lot of work to unlock. You also eventually unlock every track in the game to appear as a CrossWorld track, which is great for adding even more variety in the game. The rivals you have to beat are randomly chosen and have a difficulty to them, increasing the more of them you beat. At the beginning of a race, your chosen character and your rival will have some pre-game sass before beginning the race. If you've been keeping up with CrossWorld news, you'll know that some of these are quite bonkers.
Don't get distracted, handsome. We're here to race, so keep your eyes on the road.
Come on, you're talking to a pro here. I know how to handle the curves like an expert.
You can also pick and choose your rival if you want. Red rings will also show up in the races for you to collect and earn some extra tickets, which is this game's currency for absolutely everything. Park Mode lets you play through various races with unique rule sets. This also contains a rival mechanic, but in the form of AI racers, who don this cyber appearance and have no voices. Beating these AI teams will give you rewards like machine parts and tickets. The rule sets do add a bit of spice to races. Some will require you to hit your teammates to get a boost, attack enemies with power-ups, or collect the most amount of rings. These requirements give you a bonus amount of points at the end of a race. Winning the race itself is still top priority as it rewards the most amount of points, but the bonus points may sometimes be enough to get you the win if you fell slightly behind. Time Trial is Time Trial. Compete with others or yourself to get the fastest time on each track. Completing time trials will unlock music tracks to use in the game. These music tracks can be set to become lap 1, 2 or 3 via the jukebox menu. This is a very cool feature, I love it. Setting a banger track for that third lap is such a hype moment. The game can be quite challenging at times. AI, even on the lower speeds, do not take any messing around. Most of the challenge does tend to be avoiding the absolute carpet bomb of items being thrown your way, but it does feel nice not to have an easy win each time. The gameplay of CrossWorlds is pretty simple. You have a car or extreme gear of your choosing. Yes, we have extreme gears back. You'll find everything you'd expect to find from a typical kart racer: accelerate, drifting, boosting from drifts, tricks, and a variety of items. You can boost off the start line, but here, rather than timing it with the countdown, you just need to keep it in this sweet spot here, and you'll maximise your boost. Though you probably can just time this with a countdown too. The vehicles, or machines as the games like to call them, control great, never have I really felt out of control of the machine. One thing I had to get in the habit of doing is letting go of the accelerator, as this obviously gives you a tighter turn if it looks like you're going to bounce into a wall or off a ledge. Sounds pretty obvious, however most kart races you tend not to really let go of the accelerator, so it was just a bit of habit breaking to do here, especially on the faster difficulties. But I didn't know this, so I just couldn't get enough of being rammed against a wall. You can pull off tricks as you come off ramps, and while this does a great job of giving up to 3 boost charges, the animations look a bit stiff and the repetitive voice lines can get quite annoying. Each machine while driving through the tracks can swap between 3 modes as necessary: a driving mode, a boat mode, and a flight mode. You swap between these via these green rings, and your machine will get little add-ons to show that it's in that mode. I prefer Transform's way of doing this mechanic, more so just the visual aspect of it. In Transformed, your car will actually transform into the needed vehicle, and it was cool as hell. But here, just these little add-ons appear at the side of your car. Control-wise, they all control fine. The car, as I said earlier, controls great. The flight mode controls are also fine. You can drift in any direction you want, and when you let go of the drift and get your boost, it will release a burst of air around you to collect any rings around you. The boat mode also controls fine, though this mode doesn't really have a drift button. The drift button instead is used to charge a jump to perform tricks with. All the various machine modes work great and are fun to use. The different modes keep things fresh as you blast around the track. The items in the game are pretty similar to Mario Kart or previous Sonic racing games, just with their own twist on things. For example, this game's blue shell is King Baboom from Adventure 2. They all serve their purpose, and it's pretty standard as things go. CrossWorlds offers a ton to unlock and customise. In the game, one of the main ways to create a build is to mess around with the game's gadget plate. Initially this will be very limited, but the more you play, the more you'll fill it out completely. Here you can add various modifiers to yourself, like faster tricks, boosting on impact with opponents, starting the race with a specific item, and the list just goes on. There's a ton to unlock here and create some truly unique ways to play. Machine customization is also quite expansive. You can buy various parts and mash them together here to create your own unique car, and add some of the game's many decals and stickers. The paint setting allows you to change the paint type itself, and if you're splash on tickets you can grab some auras or horns. I only wish the extreme gears had a bit more in the way of actual board pieces. There's a lot of big, large helicopter parts for these. Other than that though, you can go crazy. There are various type of cars, so you'll be building within those boundaries: speed, acceleration, handling, boost, and power. Characters also fall into these categories. Speaking of, there's loads. I think we have almost every main modern Sonic character here. It's great to see the Rogues back. We have Zavok and Zaz again for some reason. I never really thought these guys made much of an impact, but they keep cropping up in these games. The whole of the Chaotix are back, and we've got some DLC characters in the way of the Werehog and the Sonic Prime characters. Unfortunately, these DLC characters have no voices for some reason, so when you use them, it's eerily quiet. It's a shame because something always feels missing when you're using them. They look great and they come with their own vehicles, it's just a shame about their voices. Speaking of DLC, this game is getting a boatload of DLC in the form of paid and free DLC characters. On release we got Miku, soon we are getting Minecraft characters with Joker from Persona, Ichiban from the Like a Dragon series, and SpongeBob and Patrick rocking up, with tons to be still announced and to come next year. I just hope we get more Sonic characters introduced. It's nice seeing collabs and Sega characters, but I would like to see for example Chaos or Infinite. Along with new characters, we are also getting events. Small free battle pass themed with whatever the new thing is. We've just had a Miku one and we're heading straight into the Minecraft one. These hopefully will keep the online portion of the game alive. And of course CrossWorlds has an online mode. You can play solo or party up with friends. Normally the game has a world race and a friend race. Friend race just being played with friends. World race lets you go up against players in some regular races to gain points and move up the ranks. When an event is on like the Miku Festival, the world race gets replaced with festival races, which rotate in and out of the various park modes, like hitting your teammates for boost and collecting the most amount of rings among others. The game's online is great, I've never had any disconnects or lag. The festival mode spices things up, but I do wish you could still do regular races while those were on. But other than that, the game's online is great, and if you enjoy the game itself, you'll have plenty of fun racing against others, and being carpet bombed by them. Graphically, the game is great. Colourful, and all the tracks from Sonic's history are wonderfully recreated and brought to life. Characters themselves look fine, but they still have that very plasticky and stiff look to them that's been quite consistent over the last few games. The music, however, is a bit hit or miss. I like some tracks, but others are a bit meh. The jukebox helps out in this department greatly. So, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. It's probably the best Sonic racing game we've had since Transformed. The CrossWorld gimmick is actually really cool and spices up each race. It's got a ton to unlock and customise with, loads of characters, so if you're a fan of the Sonic series, likelihood is that your favourite character is here. We've got regular events and DLC drops, so the game should be receiving new content quite regularly. My only slight gripe with the game is that the music is a bit meh, but with the jukebox you can fix that yourself. I hope they continue to update this game and keep the player base here. Sonic racing games tend to die off a bit in the multiplayer scene, so hopefully this one won't meet that same fate. So thank you for watching. I imagine if you're a Sonic fan you're probably here racing away, but I do think it's a great racing game for anyone interested in that genre.